Assalamu alaikum. I'd also, on behalf of the trustees, I'd also like to express our sincere thanks to all the same parties that Philip has just mentioned. I won't repeat them all. I think you all together have produced an absolutely fabulous conference. In the last few months, we, the trustees, have interacted very, very intensively with the British Council, to such an extent that sometimes I felt if I haven't received at least 3 emails from Phil by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, something's gone wrong. But an outcome of that is I think I have a new good friend. From the conference itself, I think there are 3 things that strike me. There are many, many things that have struck me, but one in particular is that this is the first time that the conference is taking place in a so-called Francophone country. And I think that's important because at times we've gone from one so-called Anglophone country to another and rather perhaps forgotten that there are other parts of the world with their own interesting language and development contexts. In relation to that, something historic happened in the opening ceremony of the conference, and that was when a representative of La Francophonie sat down with the British Council. And I think that really is the first time. It would be invidious of me to mention particular presentations that have inspired me. There have been many of them, but there was one particular comment that was made by the participant from Iran. I don't know whether he's still here, when he suggested that it's time to revisit our understanding of development, particularly in relation to language. I think this is so fundamental that this is what I'm going to take home with me. How are we going to, in the future from now on, how are we going to conceptualize development and in relation to language? So thank you for that comment. Finally, I'd like to tell you briefly about what happened in the Meet the Trustees session yesterday afternoon. It was a very, very good meeting. There were 25 people there. We talked for more than an hour and got lots of input, lots of ideas, lots of suggestions, and possibly an offer. After the meeting with the trustees took place, there was then a meeting between the trustees and the British Council, and that was also extremely productive. I feel really, really positive about what came out of that meeting. So I'm not going to tell you about the possibilities, but watch this space. Something interesting will happen in 2 years' time, inshallah. Thank you.
So, 3 days and 125 presentations later, we've now come to the end of the conference. I hope you've enjoyed the discussions and the debate. I hope you find it useful. I hope you find it relevant to your work. I hope you've come away with lots of takeaways and ideas. I know I certainly have. Some of you are new to the conference. Some of you have been many times. But I hope that you all feel inspired to continue your journey with the Language and Development Conference series. We've just heard that the conference trustees held an open meeting yesterday, so they've come away with lots of ideas for themes and locations for future conferences. So as Howell said, watch this space, lots of information coming on that. So Philip thanked the programme committee and the strategic partners. So I think there are just a few more people for me to thank. And I think let's start with our interpreters. So I think well done to the interpreters. for me, one of the great joys of the conference was actually to meet the interpreters for national languages from the National Assembly here in Senegal. That was great, and I think they were really inspirational people. So that, for me, was one of the highlights. Okay, who else to thank? Let's go on to our lovely volunteers. Stand up, volunteers. There we go. I think they've done an amazing job making sure that we were all in the right place at the right time. And I know I was always going to them like, which floor is it? I've been here so many times and I still don't remember. So they kept me on the straight and narrow. So thank you, volunteers. And then we have our room managers who worked with all of the chairs and presenters, kept us all to time, made sure that the rooms were all nicely set up. So where are room managers? I see William at the back there. That's William. Any other room managers? Room managers? They did a great job. Yes, well done, room managers. Okay, so moving on to some of my British Council colleagues. We have Amanda Fortier at the back there, who was responsible for our communications. And also at the back, we have Mark Hopkins from our events team in the UK. He helped make sure that we had the registration process worked out and everyone was able to register. And then we have Maimuna Tio. Yeah, oh, lovely, excellent. Now, Maimuna was the one who organised all of the volunteers, made sure that all the hotel bookings were sorted out and any hotel transfers. So Maimuna was logistics queen at the back there. And standing beside Maimuna we have Boubacar, who was responsible for the wonderful cultural programme that we had on Monday evening. There we are, well done, Boubacar. And then Philip, although he's not technically a British Council member of staff, I think he has now the title of honorary member of the British Council staff in Senegal. So, and finally, the very relieved person at the back, who is practically horizontal now, is our conference director, Joe Frayne. Oh, and standing beside Joe is Libby Karangwa-Miles, who was actually responsible for bringing the conference here in the first place. So well done, Libby. So I think that's all from me, just to thank you all for your participation. You're the people that made the conference a great success. So well done, all of you. So only a few things for me to say now. First thing is, bon voyage. And the second thing is to say, see you next time. À la prochaine. Thank you.